Welcome, I'm Dr. Ed Sulkowski, and you're watching Let's Talk Healthy Pets. Today, our guests are daughter Kristen Keatley, and they're actually my neighbors, and they're representing the Humane Society of Washington County today. And we're going, welcome.
Welcome.
Kristen, good reason to get out of class today.
Yeah.
Huh? We're going to be talking today about the Humane Society and some of the aspects of it and some of the good they do, and how, as citizens of the community, that we can contribute. And that's what Wynn and Kristen do. Wynn, how long have you been a volunteer at the Humane Society?
Kristen and I both have been volunteering since for the past 3 years.
Now, I know you don't have any animals because you live a couple houses away from me.
Yeah.
What got you involved in going to the Humane Society to help out?
Kristen loves dogs.
Yeah.
But we really can't have a dog in our house. We have allergies.
So you go there to sort of satisfy that need to have a pet. So you have 36 pets, basically.
Yeah.
When you go there, what are some of the things you do as a volunteer?
What are some of the things we do?
Well, we walk dogs. Sometimes, I do these cat posters for the Humane Society. There's no one else at the Humane Society who does that. Well, only one other person. But
Just
mostly
tell the
it's
audience
just
what
one.
that is.
A cat poster is. The cat poster is. It's like a little computer design with the cats that need adoption on it.
So the Humane Society has cats, dogs.
Cats, dogs, usually nothing else.
So how many animals would you say are at the Humane Society, Wayne?
There's 36 dogs, and I don't even know how many cats, because there was a situation a couple months ago where some house had, I don't know, maybe 30 cats or something like that. So they had to bring all these cats in, and PetSmart has also been kind enough to take some of the Humane Society's cats. So I don't even know how many cats.
So you have one building that's for dogs, one building that's for cats, or how do you do that?
The upstairs has the cats. And then
Yeah.
there's a third outer building where there's dogs that are housed that are not available for adoption. Either they're too sick to be adopted, or they could be in a court case that's pending.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
Tell us where the Humane Society is located.
It's located on Route 136 in 84. It's right next to the Spring House.
Okay, I think that's a familiar place for a lot of people. And they're operating hours.
From noon to 5, 7 days a week.
So if you were interested in becoming a volunteer, those would be the hours that you go, or do you go after hours?
Sometimes you can go before hours a little bit if you're a dog walker, once you've already applied to be a volunteer.
Okay,
That's when it's open to the public.
Let's
the
talk
12 to
about the
5.
application.
Okay.
You just don't walk in the door and say, I'm here to walk a dog. You have to apply and they have to accept you, I assume.
That's correct,
And
yes.
so there's a little form that you fill out.
There is a form. It's available on the website, and you fill out the form.
What type of questions does this form ask?
Boy, honestly, it's been so many years
We
since
filled
we
out
applied.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So you probably name, address,
Yeah,
whether you have
phone
animals
number.
yourself, and just,
Why you're interested
Interested.
in doing this.
okay. And then the Humane Society also offers a foster parent program, and that's a bit different than a volunteer going to the Humane Society.
It is. We get animals that are maybe too sick to be housed with the general population. Also, like a mother dog who is going to have a litter of puppies, or cats with kittens where they just need a quiet place to be for a few weeks, for a short period of time until they heal or until the mothers wean the puppies.
So I was on their website, and I just printed out their foster parent application, and they go into some detailed questions asking you whether you have animals, how large your family is, whether you rent or own, and a number of questions that qualify to be a foster parent. And one of the things I noticed on here is it says that you're responsible for the food and so forth while you're fostering
That is
the parent.
true, yes.
And the reason for that is the Humane Society of Washington County doesn't receive any state funding or any national funding of any kind. It's
No.
all through volunteers and fundraising.
It's a private charity. It's strictly all the donations that they receive.
And can you tell us how long that's been in existence?
It's been in existence for 101 years. In fact, we just celebrated a couple weeks ago with an event called Wags and Whiskers that was at the Washington County Fairgrounds.
Big attendance and so forth?
Yeah, there was a fairly good attendance there.
Good. So what, you took animals there, the dogs and the cats, to be
We
adopted?
did,
and
yeah.
Yeah,
we did.
actually, these guys were down there.
Well, let's show the audience these guys. They're very comfortable and quietly resting on the floor here. Would you introduce them, Kristen?
This one, the one who's a little bigger, is Herschel. He's also wearing a black collar. And Gus over here is the smaller one with the red collar.
They're really sweet dogs. How did you take in these dogs?
Well, a farmer had them in a barn, and well, he just didn't have enough time for them, so he turned them over.
They certainly don't look neglected. They look pretty healthy. And
Well
are you
fed.
well, I'm sorry?
Well fed.
Yeah.
A little too well fed.
Are you trying to adopt them together?
I wouldn't really say that. Like, it'd be nice if they could go into
Because
the
they've been
same
raised
home.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they look to be from the same litter with their markings and age and so forth.
Yeah.
So they're pretty well bonded together, as I can see.
Yeah.
What type of dog are they?
I'd say they're like Beagle Basset Hound mixes, maybe.
Okay.
More Beagle than Basset.
And when they were brought to the Humane Society, are staff veterinarians there?
There are veterinarians that come from time to time. There's vet technicians there on staff.
So what's happening is you're getting the required vaccinations and the checkup and so forth, and deworming and that type of thing.
They do. When they come in, they're dewormed, vaccinated for rabies. If they have not been neutered or spayed, they will be neutered or spayed.
So when you say, hey, I want to adopt this and bring this to my loving family and add a new member or two, in this case maybe, you pay for that as the adopting?
You do. It's currently, the current price is $75 for an adult dog and $150 for puppies that are available.
Okay, why the difference?
We really like to discourage people from adopting puppies. First of all, the adult dogs really need homes, so there is an incentive to consider bringing an adult into your home. And the other thing is that puppies, a lot of times people really think that the puppies are so cute and they're adorable, and they bring them home, and 8 months later, they're adult dogs that are no longer so cute and adorable.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wind up back at the shelter.
Sad to say, but that happens quite frequently.
Yeah.
The especially I think around Christmas time.
Yeah.
There's a big God, which one is this? This is Herschel? No,
The one
Herschel's the
who's-
bigger one.
The one who's standing up
This
is
is
Herschel.
Gus.
Gus
Oh, Herschel
on the
is
floor.
standing up. Look at it. That
Yeah.
tells us he's wagging his tail at the camera crew.
Yeah, he likes the crew here.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't seem to be barkers. When I walked in, they didn't even just ran up to me and said hi, and that was it.
We've been with them for 2 hours. I haven't heard them bark once.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem really awesome animals. Different names, Herschel and Gus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so if I wanted to foster, I would go online, fill out this application. They review it and then contact me and say, yes, we can have you foster, or
Yes.
so forth. It's great to have that consideration for these animals, and if anybody in the community can do that, it'd be awesome. I know I work, as you know, with Angels for Animals, and that's their organization is constantly nothing but fostering. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of good people out there to take these animals in at their own expense and give them a home and love, and sometimes they end up keeping them. But until they're adopted, they're definitely taken care of. So that's something to consider. So how often do you go to the Humane Society to walk the dogs?
Usually, about once a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually
And do you have
Sunday
a-
afternoons.
Do you have a set schedule?
They're pretty flexible with that. They'll take people when they're available. The dogs don't get walked much during the week.
So
it's
you
hard.
can pretty much show up anytime and do that.
Yeah, like sometimes we'll shoot down after school
Yeah.
and maybe walk a couple dogs late afternoon.
And you walk them for how long?
No, sometimes we'll take them out 15, 20 minutes. They have a lot of property there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nice places to walk.
Yeah, they even have these playpens that are really nice. You can take the dogs up there, walk up the gate, and then just like let them off the leash.
So basically, as volunteers, you're dog walkers. Basically, you're
Yeah.
not in there cleaning the pens, or do they have volunteers to do that as well?
It's usually the paid personnel that cleans
They
the.
clean the pens.
We've gotten stuck with that job a couple times, but not too often.
Oh yeah.
That's not something you wanna do every day, huh?
She got tricked into it one time.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's
Yeah.
a learning experience, and there is maintenance to an animal. You have to take care of them. They require attention and time, and that's part of having an animal. And that's some of the reason why people adopt them and then they take them home and as puppies especially can't go through that training period.
Yeah.
And housebreaking and so forth, and then they say, here, take this dog. Not fair to the animal by any means.
Yeah, puppies are a lot of work.
Animals in general are a lot of work. I don't care if it's a horse, a cat. Cats, I think, are a little less maintenance other than maybe cleaning the litter box, and they're a little more independent. But dogs certainly are companion animals. That's what they are. And I know mine just... All I have to do is say, let's go for a walk, and I have those dogs running to the door, and, as you well know. In fact, I didn't realize you were walking these dogs so often. Maybe I'll hand a couple off to you guys for you
Kristen
won't
would
have
like
to drive
that.
there.
Yeah, Kristen would love it.
But they're a wonderful asset to their family. I mean, it's incredible, and it's a shame you don't have any with the allergy situation, because I know you'd give them a good home.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful what you're doing there. Let me ask you some of the, and I don't know even if you can answer these. If I bought food and wanted to drop it off at the Humane Society, will they accept the food?
Yes, they take donations. On the website, there's a whole wish list of things that they can use. Because a lot of times Girl Scout troops or churches will have a drive. And so there's a whole list of things they can use. Dog food, cat food.
They don't want anything that's opened or anything like that? Or is
I
that,
would
is that
say
an issue?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so such things as collars and drinking bowls and blankets and that
Yes.
type of thing are all required. And they appreciate that. And is that tax deductible, do you know?
Yes.
So they'll give a little slip saying that this
Yes,
was
you get
donated
a-
to the Humane Society. And
You get a receipt that
get a
you
receipt.
can use for your taxes.
well, that's incredible. Are there certain times of the year where they need certain things or more things?
I would say the old blankets when we go into the winter months.
Okay.
In the summer, not so much because of the storage, where to store them during the warm months, but
Okay. And this facility is really never shuts down.
no, the animals are there 24/7. They even have people that have to go in on
Christmas Day
and feed
and,
the
and
dogs.
Thanksgiving and so forth. Make sure there's water in the bowls and so forth. Yeah, well, that's great that people do that and care so much for the animals. I can see we're going to be going to commercial here in a few seconds, so we're going to take a little break. Please stay with us, and we'll be back with Wendy and Kristen and Gus and Herschel. Will they sit in your lap? No.
They might, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're so tired.
They're sort
Come
of
on,
off
boys.
camera, and
Come on, guys.
we need the audience to see them.
Here, come on.
Your influence, your concern, your rules can help keep minors away from alcohol. Visit don'tletminersdrink.com.
Congratulations on the promotion.
I hope you're saving the extra money.
You gotta put it in stocks.
If you want to get ahead.
No, buns.
And CDs.
Way to
I'm
go.
not
Get it
always
balanced.
flattering.
You know, you can do
Stick
better.
it under the mattress.
You want
Getting plenty of advice, but not enough facts? Visit saveandinvest.org. No confusing advice, no sales pitch. Just unbiased information and tools to help you manage your money with confidence. Saveandinvest.org.
How far would you go to help someone? Would you go to the end of your driveway? Would you cross a street? Would you cross an ocean? To a place 6,000 miles? And how long would you go? Would you go for a week? A month? A year? Would you go for 2 years? Would you go if you could use your knowledge to teach someone, and in the process, maybe learn something yourself? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps.
Welcome back. You're watching Let's Talk Healthy Pets, and I'm Dr. Ed Sulkowski with Wynn and Kristen Keatley, and we have Herschel over here and Gus over there. They're needing a home, and the Humane Society has taken them in for how long has the Humane Society had them?
2 months. Like, it's been since like middle August.
I tell you, they're really sweet dogs, and we had them on the floor there resting. We thought we'd show the audience and have them sit in the laps. They're really, really friendly, happy little dogs. I know that they'll separate them, but I think it would be awesome to keep them together because they've been together their whole lives. And they are at the Washington County Humane Society. Kristen and Wynn are volunteers there, and they go and walk the dogs. And these are two of the dogs they wanted to highlight that are needing a loving home. So there are a number of things that the Humane Society does, and so there's actually adoption counseling I can see. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, when a family comes in looking for a dog, they'll talk to, a lot of times it's us that they'll be talking to. Some of the volunteers, they'll ask us about the dog.
The demeanor of the dog, its temper, that type of thing.
Yeah,
how
does
gets
it
along
like
with
other
kids.
dogs?
So they qualify potential adopters, huh?
They do. Because if somebody else has dogs, and we know that this dog does not like other dogs, that's just not going to work.
Or some dogs don't get along with cats, some do. Some dogs don't like children, and some dogs don't like men, some dogs don't like women. It's amazing, but they develop those and those concepts. And so you really, when you're placing a dog, you want a good home, and you're trying to find a home that qualifies. Yeah, it's always a challenge.
But there's a nice pen up in the back too, where somebody can take the animal and take the family.
You get to know them.
Or also if they have a dog in their house, we recommend that they bring their dog down to the shelter and let the two kind of get to know one another a little bit to see if they're going to get along.
Now you need volunteers that are groomers as well.
Yeah, I think there's some people that have grooming services that will volunteer their services. Also, when we're walking them, we'll bring a brush and brush them out.
And then you're also looking for people that have licensed electricians and rough carpenters and people that will volunteer their trades to come in and improve the facility.
There's always something that needs repaired down there. I mean, the facility is an old building, and there's plumbing, or sometimes the gutters were falling down. We needed.
So your facility will hold 36 dogs. Mm-hmm. So what happens if the 37th, 38th, and 39th dogs show up?
We can't take them. We have to refer them to another shelter.
So you're receiving dogs here almost every day. Somebody's bringing a dog in to say, I can't take care of this dog, or I found this dog wandering the streets, or so.
That probably happens every day. At the time, I don't think that they're taking dogs in right now.
Because they're at capacity.
Yeah.
So as many dogs as you can adopt, it makes room for the new dogs coming in.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's why we like to encourage people to look at these dogs first, so that there's a home for the next dog.
Yes. The Washington County Humane Society is also a no-kill shelter, which is very important. So they're taking these animals and not putting them down in 2 days or 3 days.
No, these guys have been there since August.
Yeah.
And they haven't been adopted, where at another shelter.
They're put down in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wish that would stop. In any case, I mean, look at that. How could you just take this cute little Herschel and put him down. You couldn't. He's
No,
just a
that would be
sweetheart.
very tough
Look
to
at those
do.
eyes. Look at those eyes. Can we get a close up on those eyes? Look, Herschel. Look at the camera. He's just a cutie. You know. And is this the first time you've spent the day with him? With these two?
It is the first time.
And look at how at home they are with you. I mean, I even saw Kristen get a kiss over there.
This one, oh yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Thank you.
course.
Thank
And
you.
that's just with a few hours that you've spent with them.
Yeah. They're very adorable.
Somebody out in our audience needs to take these dogs home. Anyway, when you're at the facility and you're scheduled to come in, what happens if you don't show up?
Well, we really don't have a schedule. I mean, they really just take people as they come. I mean, some days on a Sunday when the weather's really nice, they'll maybe have 20 people walking dogs.
Oh, that's
and that's
incredible.
okay. I mean, there's always plenty of dogs to go around. And then that way, maybe somebody can spend an hour or two with one dog, and that's great for the dog. So it's like the more volunteers, the better down there.
Did you know Dr. Al Sorensen?
Yeah. we
Dr.
did.
Al Sorensen, a wonderful guy. He was a physician, local physician in Peters Township, lived in Peters Township, and was actually my physician when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
and became a friend of mine. And he was one of those people that would just absolutely adopted the Washington County Humane Society.
We're so
And,
dedicated.
yeah, and he did so much for those animals. I mean, it was an advocate for them. He was a walker. In fact, I recall one time where he was actually injured walking the dog because he lost his balance and fell. And he passed away. It's probably been 2 years now. Yeah. But he left a legacy there. And he was just, and I don't know if he had animals himself. I think he did. He did have 3 dogs or 2 dogs.
Did he?
Yeah. So just would like to pay a little tribute to Dr. Al Sorensen for his care for the animals. And he did that for years.
Yeah, he was a very dedicated volunteer.
So, and at Washington County Humane Society, located in 84 and on what road again?
Route 136,
136
right by the spring house.
By the spring house. They need dogs. Dogs and cats need homes. They need volunteers from everything from carpenters to dog walkers to somebody dropping off food and blankets and collars and so forth. So they'd appreciate the help of anybody out there in the listening area. I want to take this opportunity. We had such a big response from our last show that we talked about when we had Robin and Janice on from Sunnybridge, and we were talking about nutrition and supplements and so forth. And one of the biggest amount of emails that I received, and phone calls as well, had to do with allergies, seasonal allergies. And I think we touched upon that, if I recall. Most seasonal allergies are a response to pollens that are in the air at that time. And the dogs see them in scratching and itching and biting at their paws and so forth, and inflammation and irritation. And the way to help treat that, I'm sure steroids and so forth work, but they're not my favorite things to do because they only suppress. The way to do it is to heal the intestinal tract. And as we talked about, and as I said, responded to most of the emails and the phone calls about, you need to get that intestinal tract healthy. And the way to do that is by putting good bacteria in there, what we call probiotics, and to put such things as fish oil, colostrum in there to help the intestinal tract heal. And you might not see the result immediately, but it will start to lessen. And then there are some topical things that you could put on that areas where the inflammation is, and that's such things as colloidal silver and oregano oil and so forth throughout the day. None of that is toxic, and it helps the healing. This dog is falling asleep on me over here. He's snoring. That's a content, happy dog. But it happens all the time because what happens, these irritants, these proteins are in the air, and as we breathe, we swallow them, and they mix with our mucus, and then they go in our intestinal tract. And when you have something called leaky gut syndrome, the pollens, these proteins, fall out of the intestinal tract into the blood supply, and then we have an immune response with antigens and histamine and so forth, and then we have our body trying to get rid of it and trying to keep it in check, and that's the allergies that we see. So you need to get that intestinal tract healthy, and by taking those probiotics and fish oils and colostrum and good diet of good food. That's probably your biggest challenge. But anyway, that was my little Palm Minute, and just to respond to the numerous emails and phone calls I've been receiving over the last few weeks. Kristen, may I ask who in the family has allergies?
Actually, we all do a little bit.
Yeah, it's mostly my brother, I think, though.
Yeah, but
Michael's off to school, so maybe, maybe you guys can get a dog.
but usually what we'll do is just change our clothes as soon
Yeah,
as
so
we
the
get
short
home
term, it
and
doesn't
take
bother you.
Yeah,
It's being
short
around
term
it
is
constantly.
fine.
Yeah.
But
So
you have it all through the house and.
So it's I think it's pretty neat, Kristen, that you got your mom involved instead of your mom getting you involved.
Yeah.
Do you have interest in becoming a veterinarian or getting into the animal field somehow?
Maybe.
Yeah, a little too young to make that decision.
She talks about being an animal rights advocate, like a lawyer.
Oh boy, do we need those. We need animal rights advocates, and we need animal rights advocate judges, and those are far and few. You know, it's just amazing. There's that thing that happened in Washington County where the neighbor grabbed the dog, took it to his house, and shot it, and he received a $2,000 fine. That's all. You know, it's just amazes me.
That's ridiculous.
But animal abuse is a terrible thing, and that's a great field to get into. You know, so looking out for animals and the owners of animals. That's real big in California. It hasn't migrated this way here yet, so hopefully it will. And it, you know, it just amazes me how anybody can hurt, you know, a little animal like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're defenseless. They're just like children. I don't see how they could do that.
Yeah. Well, again, Wen and Kristen are volunteers at the Washington County Humane Society, and we had them on the show today to sort of give a little exposure to the Humane Society, telling them their needs, and to show that just as a citizen, you can just give a little bit of your time and go there and walk the dogs and take care of them and help to the quality of their life. We want to remember that a healthy dog is always a happy dog, and that we're always thinking positively. And doing so is caring for these little creatures that need to be cared for, and we're sort of put in charge of them to do that. And look how loving they are. It's just incredible. We have over here Gus. Now this is Herschel, and this is Gus, and they were taken in by the Humane Society from a farm, and it looks to me like they've always been together. They seem to be from the same litter.
Yeah, they look like.
And they're about how old? Three you said?
3 years.
And they're fully vaccinated and
They've been neutered.
And they seem very healthy and looking for a good home. So if you can't take them, maybe you know somebody that can, or just even talking about them, we'll be able to find a home for them. Anyway, I'd like to thank Wynn and Kristen for coming on the show and talking a little bit about what they do and their love for animals and what the Humane Society does. And we thank Gus and Herschel for being such good dogs here. And we'll ask you to stay tuned continue watching Let's Talk Healthy Pets, and we'll have some interesting shows coming up here in the near future. Thanks for watching.